Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Bayan Wang. Wounds were reopened for the people of Boulder today as the NCAR fire scorched more than 120 acres in the Table Mesa area in Boulder. Fire crews have been doing everything they can to stop the spread. To give you some perspective, this is just a few miles away from where the Marshall Fire ripped through more than 1,000 homes earlier today. 19,000 people and 8,000 homes were under evacuation orders. At last check, no structures have been damaged. Denver 7's Rob Harris is live in Boulder tonight. Rob, wind gusts in the area created issues for fire crews earlier.
Yeah, absolutely, Bayan. But you were mentioning how they've been working throughout the day to try to protect the homes. And the really good news that you can report tonight is that there are no homes that have been burned so far, at least. And with the current weather conditions out here, fire crews are hopeful that they can keep that being the case throughout the night. I'm going to step out of the way though, because the other thing we get with the nighttime is darkness, which gives us a glimpse as to some of those lower level flames we couldn't see earlier today with the sunlight and also with the smoke that was in this area throughout the day today. Flames are much smaller than they were earlier today, which is good. Again, going to those nighttime conditions, but fire crews are still in the neighborhood of Table Mesa on standby essentially to make sure that it doesn't get any closer to these homes. Now, firefighters I talked to today say that the ability to keep it away from the homes is really down to two factors. First is the mitigation efforts that have been happening up until now, including clearing out some of the dry vegetation well before the fire today. The second are the training efforts that have happened. In fact, we were told that this neighborhood off of Table Mesa was the exact spot for an interagency training just last year.
We quite literally had a multi-company training in this neighborhood below us last spring. And so all those resources came in, knew exactly what they needed to do, pulled their hose lines, went into a structured defensive posture, and had everything lined out in moments.
So the mitigation and training efforts were the good news today. The bad news were the weather conditions earlier on that were happening when the fire started. Combination of the strong winds and warmer temperatures were a bad setup for this, and the fact that the trees were still dormant and the grass isn't in that springtime green yet meant that there was plenty of fuel for the fire as it started today. Now that it's dark, obviously we're not seeing the tankers up above dropping some of that fire retardant, but we did see plenty of that earlier today. The cooler temperatures though and the higher relative humidity are good factors that are having firefighters feeling pretty good going into tonight that they can continue to keep it away from that Table Mesa neighborhood. Now I do have one more important update from Boulder County Sheriff's Office. We do not have an official word yet on the cause of this fire, but the Boulder County Sheriff's Office is investigating the cause of this, and they're asking anyone that might have been on the trails here around NCAR around 2 o'clock this afternoon to reach out to them if they might have seen anything while they were out on these trails that could help in that investigation. So the contact information for the Boulder County Sheriff's Office is at the bottom of your screen. Guys.
Rob, good work out there. Thank you. All right, let's get right to meteorologist Stacey Donaldson. Stacey, those strong winds earlier made the firefight difficult for crews.
That's right. Those winds were around 30 to 40 miles an hour. They've really died down tonight. And to put it in a little more perspective, the Marshall Fire winds were around 80 to 100 miles an hour when that fire started. So we were starting at a lower level here for the Boulder area, but it was still windy today with those low humidity levels and high temperatures. And at this point, the winds are only 6 miles an hour here in Boulder, which is good news. And the humidity levels have gone way up. We're at 52% here in Denver, 45% toward Fort Collins wind. Earlier today, it was at 12% in Boulder, so that's great news also for the firefight. We also have an air quality advisory in effect for this entire area for the smoke through tomorrow morning, so keep that in mind if you're out and about this evening. Just be prepared that there's still going to be a lot of smoke in the atmosphere as they continue to fight this fire.
We'll see you later in the show. Thanks. All right, we're learning just how threatening these flames were to the people in the area. Of course, thousands were evacuated in nearby communities, but many residents were enjoying the warm weather outdoors and hit the trails in the area. Now take a look at this. Here's a video from Connor Salazar. He was hiking on the Shanahan Trail with a friend when the NCAR fire quickly grew in size, spreading their way.
But it progressed pretty quickly. Got really big, a lot of smoke, and then it just it blocked the trail from us going down. So we were really, struggling trying to figure out, okay, what is the best way down?
About 10 others on the same trail gathered together. They teamed up and attempted to escape using 3 alternative trails, but they were turned away by heavy smoke that blocked off the pathway.
just surrounded by fires. Like I started making it down and you could feel the heat, you could smell the smoke. And it's terrifying. It's like, okay, am I going to burn today?
The group eventually found a trail that went down the north side of the mountain where officials assisted them. And of course, we're just very glad they are doing well tonight. All right, thousands of people, as we said, were evacuated from their homes, and many took refuge at the East Boulder Recreation Center, which is serving as a place for evacuees to sleep. Denver 7's Micah Smith joins us live from there now. Micah, you spoke with some of the people that will be spending the night there tonight.
Bayan, it's hard to think about today's NCAR fire without thinking about the timing of it all. Just 3 months ago, many of the residents who will be sleeping in their cars tonight or inside the evacuation center were told to leave their homes as the Marshall Fire ripped through parts of Boulder, Superior, and Louisville. And today, these same residents were once again told to evacuate. We talked to Gabriel Bodner, who remembers that day and started to relive some of the trauma when officers told him to evacuate.
Unfortunately, we lost a home on December 30th through the Marshall fires, and so yeah, this is unfortunately
it's feeling a little too fresh.
A little bit of a nightmare that we're going through right now, and we're up near.
We also talked to resident Becky Hardy. She also had to evacuate during the Marshall Fire. She lives up on the ridge, and she says she cannot believe yet another fire is tearing through her community.
The smoke was getting thicker. My neighbors were kind of freaking out, and I could see where it was. I didn't think it was coming right then or fast, but I tried to think and take my time, and I was getting everything packed, mostly my rec center bag and my sleeping bag, when the police came by and said, "Get out now." And I hadn't felt that urgency before, but then I did, and I just made sure my neighbors were good, and you know, I don't know, you just have to take care of each other.
Now, Hardy says the older she gets, the more she realizes that while materialistic things do matter, she's just glad that she has her life and that she's safe. And while she's hopeful that she has a home to go back to, so far, she's glad to learn that all of her loved ones and family members are safe as well. Reporting in Boulder, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
It really is just unthinkable to just reflect on what some of these families are going through. Micah, thank you. Just a few miles away, the cleanup continues following the destruction left behind by the Marshall Fire. Alicia Miller tweeted this photo out when she stopped by her Louisville property where her home once stood to see if debris removal started in the area. She was caught off guard by the white smoke from the NCAR fire off in the distance.
The frequency just keeps seeming to become more and more often, and it's just really terrifying.
To see a cloud of white smoke off in the distance, what was going through your mind?
Oh my gosh, not again. Not another community. Just when is it going to stop?
Miller says she signed a long-term lease at a property that was actually in today's evacuation zone out of the NCAR fire. And she says as much as she loves the Boulder area, she may be thinking to move somewhere else. All right, not again. Another community, when is it going to stop to try to rebuild multiple full-time jobs? That is some other feedback that we got from her earlier. And as we learn more about the NCAR fire, we will continue our coverage on the air and on our website, thedenverchannel.com. All right, still to come on Denver 7 News at 10, the First Lady bringing hope to the Latino community in Denver. We hear from college students who say they finally feel heard after having their hardships go unnoticed for so long.